I didn't hear you come aboard, ma'am.
You are the watchman?
I am the captain.
Then who is Captain Onedin?
Captain Onedin is the owner, ma'am. He'll be aboard soon if you care to sit down. I was having to make amends.
A Turk's head, I see.
Yes, ma'am. Might I ask who you are and what is the nature of your business?
My name is Miss Indigo Jones, and my business is with your employer.
Yes, ma'am.
Anne is virtually separated from James and been living in the most dreadful circumstances. Did you know?
Yes.
But you did not think to tell me.
Since when has other people's unhappiness been your concern?
I want to know why.
Then you can ask her, because she's due here with repayments.
Repayments?
I lent her a small sum. I didn't ask for it back. She insisted on making repayments.
My father tells me she's been living in common lodging houses. Did you know that?
Anne has a will of her own.
I did not think you could be so indifferent.
I don't understand. What happened to that cashier's post you had at Chumley's?
I was dismissed. The other work people wouldn't have a woman take on a man's job.
I don't know it. Well, spinster you started, and spinster you'll end. Look at you, taking in washing. A naval officer's daughter.
You should be glad I remembered you.
Look at your hands, a washerwoman's hands.
I make my way as best I can.
I'll say one word. You've got a husband, go to him and make your peace.
No.
Now listen, you're a married woman and you've obligations. Every week that goes by, you put yourself further in the wrong. In a court of law, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on. It's desertion. In
One word?
Well, I can't stand to see you like this. Where are you living?
With Ellen Jessup.
What, a strike leader's wife?
I'd no one else to turn to.
You'd best turn to James before he loses sight of you altogether.
The cable jammed on the bow. The hose pipes were torn out and her bows were drawn under. She was swept clean from stem to stern.
Where's the Samantha now?
Anchored off Cork.
Is the damage made good?
We had 120 days of voyage.
From?
Peru.
And her cargo, Miss Jones? Captain Baines, if you'd be so good as to leave us. Now, I want to get this quite clear, Miss Jones. In passage from Peru, you anchored off Cork and came here alone.
Yes.
Just you and Captain Jones aboard.
And a pantryman.
Just the three of you, eh? Well, shorthand, it's hardly the word for it. Why didn't you send it to Cork for assistance?
Not possible. There is no one word to describe that voyage. First the earthquake, then superstition. A voyage beset with difficulties and incidents.
And all your crew deserted, eh?
Deserted or dead. After the earthquake, the carpenter thought he saw the Caluche.
Caluche?
It's a legend of Chilean sailors. A phantom ship. She precedes, then follows disaster. An apparition, you understand.
And of those that died?
9 by drowning.
And the rest?
It would be wrong of me not to be frank at the outset. There was a certain amount of fever aboard.
Ah. How many cases?
3 certain.
Miss Jones, the Samantha's cargo.
She carries guano.
Bird droppings?
When fertilizers are in short supply, as they are now, guano fetches up to 20 pounds a ton. The farmers are in sore need of it.
Where did you pick it up?
I cannot tell you that, of course.
Do not most of the South American governments put an export duty on?
I have found a source where the controls do not apply.
Well, then all you want me for is a fetch and carry job.
No. She must be quickly discharged on arrival.
So that you may return for another shipload without delay, eh?
The discovery of undisturbed deposits of guano is a matter of luck and information. Neither holds good forever. So we cannot risk 3 weeks quarantine or Too many questions?
Oh, I understand, Miss Jones.
Well, Captain Onedin? Cork to Liverpool? Will you help me shepherd the Samantha home?
I've got to the stage where I can't reason with the girl. And James is locked up on board, won't speak to a soul. He's got a woman of colour aboard.
A woman of colour?
Oh, she's not fandangle. No, she's a charterer, I gather. Could you spare another drop? I have an affliction of the gums from my naval days. No, and is determined not to return home.
Then we'd best not interfere. If James has a charter, things may very well improve upon his return.
Is it all you have to say, madam? With Robert's brother estranged?
Brother or no, James has done quite enough harm in this port.
What's the job, sir?
I told you, mouth shut job. And we'll have a lady passenger aboard.
Or she could have my cabin. I'll dust down here.
Right, I want to sail on tonight's tide. Not a word of this ashore. All right. What's about first, man?
Like you.
Name?
20 Morgan, Captain.
20?
I says 20 for 20.
Where were you rated able seaman?
Copper ore trade. Swansea out.
What ships?
Packets mostly.
Did they not have names?
Answer the captain.
I forgets.
A hard man, are you, Morgan?
I been all round, Captain.
Keep your mouth shut, Kenny Morgan.
Depends
On what?
on who's paying for one and what the job is.
Fetch and carry, Morgan. Schooner sailing from Cork, short-handed. Month's wages, week's work.
I've been short-handed before, Captain.
Wait up on deck. And the next one, Captain.
Next.
I smelt that smell before somewhere.
Billy Bones, sir. Knacker's yard it is. Well, no place for a seaman, sir.
Well, what you doing there, then?
The knacker's daughter, sir. Well, 6 months gone, so he had to make an effort, sir.
What ships?
And the Money Wigram boats on the East India run.
Got your papers?
No, I ain't got none, sir.
Why not?
Knacker's got them. Trying to keep me strapped.
Oh, you'll be anxious to start sailing again, then, eh?
A long haul and foulment for orders to do me, sir.
All right, sound him up, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
And the next one, Captain Baines.
Right, you.
Name? Yeah, I can see you got your discharge papers. Name?
He's got no roof to his mouth, sir.
No roof to his mouth, eh? Well, it's the kind of man we want for this job. Can't answer back. Sign him on, Captain Baines. Charter wants a quick turnaround. Night and day unloading, double gangs. Why? Well, two reasons. Cargo's worth more than £10,000, and she wants to get back before anybody else finds the source.
Do you know the source?
Not yet. Samantha had a rather unfortunate voyage. Fever, desertion, probably a few irregularities. But if we can get her discharged without an eyebrow raised, we can bargain for a bit of that cargo, you and I.
Fever, you say?
Hey, Albert, you've got a cousin in the customs, eh?
John? Yes, he's an outdoor officer, but, well, I don't quite see what that's
Well, I don't want anything to get in the way of a quick discharge. You know, it's just so much routine. Ship's logged to be checked, papers, clean bill of health. Now, if you were there with your cousin John, you could make it a rather social affair.
Very well, James. I'll see what I can do on your behalf.
Oh, Albert, on our behalf.
Mrs. Onedin. Morning, ma'am. What have you got there?
Washing, Mr. Baines.
Mr. Onedin's not making...
No, it's some of yours. From your sister, she asked me to bring it to you.
Well, I had no idea you were at this. I've not seen my sister.
She knew me, of course.
You spoke so high of you. Does the captain know you're at this thing?
He does. I've not told him. You see, I've not spoken to him for some time.
I heard you was part.
Captain Baines!
Excuse me, ma'am.
Captain Onedin said I was to use your cabin. Be so good as to stow my gear.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's that?
Charterer.
Charterer.
I don't know what Mr. Onedin is about in anything, ma'am.
I find your Captain Baines unspeakably coarse.
Aye, well, he wouldn't grace Sam Cunard's table, but he is a good seaman.
So am I. Now then, I understand there are some complications.
Well, in addition to ferrying out a new crew, you have asked me to engineer the discharge of a ship under very unusual circumstances. My partner...
You did not mention a partner.
Mr. Fraser will be of invaluable assistance to us.
Then what is the difficulty?
Well, it's what it always is, Miss Indigo.
You see, Miss Indigo, the county families have grand mottos in Latin, but the Onedin line has how much?
I'll do your fetch and carry job for you, on condition that we split the profits of the cargo 3 ways. Yourself, your father, and us.
1/4.
Payable in cash the moment the ship discharges.
By whose reckoning?
Well, the current price of guano.
Payable the moment she clears customs, her cargo discharged and delivered as per bills of lading?
Provided that she has a clean bill of health.
James, you seem very anxious about this clean bill of health.
Beg pardon, sir, a word.
Captain Baines, I'm engaged on company business.
Leave to speak, sir.
Captain Baines, I can wait.
It's Mrs. Onedin, sir.
You will excuse me. I'm told you wish to see me.
No, I just chanced to see Captain Baines.
With your sack on your back.
I've experienced worse things, even than being spoken to like that.
Yes, I dare say. Well, I've charterers to entertain.
James, if you'd only unbend.
Unbend?
You've so much pride still.
My pride's to stand upright and not to go begging. And to do that, I'll use my wits if I have to, while you, with your hand and your chapel art, invite nothing but sickness.
I'll remember that.
Look, I must sail with this tide. I'll ask Baines to summon a cab.
James, is that foreign woman sailing with you?
Ah, she is.
Is she the charterer?
She is.
I've no wish to interfere.
No good advice, if you please. If there's a profit involved, I'll sail with the Queen of Sheba and not a qualm of conscience about it.
Mr. Baines? Yes, sir.
Kindly see Mrs. Onedin ashore. And in future, trouble me with ship's business only.
Aye, aye, sir. I'm sorry, ma'am.
A fetch and carry job, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
And he's told you nothing more?
No, ma'am.
It's nothing illegal, is it?
Oh, no, ma'am. He's just not been himself, that's all. Snapping the heads off everyone, except strangers.
I don't know what lengths my husband will go to make his profit, Mr. Baines. My greatest concern is what he will do to himself.
Listen. You done the job Miss Indigo give you?
Yes, all except him. Johnny see to it now, eh?
Wait in with ankle shackles.
Ankle shackles all gone.
What?
Johnny see to it. Me got both ankles.
He is dead, is he?
Yes, Capitan. Him dead.
Mrs. Onedin is stuck up with my sister Alice in Wellington Street. She was asking about the charter, if it was, well, you know, all above board, legal-like. Oh, I didn't say anything, just ferrying out sailors to a stranded schooner.
You said what?
Well, what little I knew. I mean, she's your wife and not a stranger. She's been good to me.
Look, I told you, this was a mouth shut job.
Mr. Onedin, I don't like having words or feelings. Sealed orders I've been under before, but mouth shut's not sealed orders. And I am the master, and I've a right to know the charter proper.
I'll board her, bring her up channel, and you'll follow on behind.
You're taking her into Liverpool?
No, the captain will do that. I'm deliverer, no more. You'll pick me up before she's towed in.
What's the cargo?
Guano.
Guano? The birds get rid of it because they don't want it. Why should we have it?
Because it's worth more than £20 a ton. Now, this Miss Indigo, she's found a source with no export duty to pay.
Why don't we go after a shipload ourselves?
Because I don't know the source. And because this Miss Indigo, she might talk a lot, but she knows when to keep her mouth shut.
What? Chile? Peru? Ginger Island or Lobos de Afuero? That's the fever coast.
Morgan! I got some work for you, my lad. What?
I've signed some month out.
Now then, young Twenty. On your feet, my lad. Move!
Of course I'll move, but I can't work. Then, sign some month out. Well, you've heard of ship's articles, haven't you?
Pray do not think me flirtatious when I am but gay.
Those are my letters.
Returned them, did he?
Daniel Fogarty always behaved honorably.
Did he indeed? The father of your child. Look. Must you leave them in a drawer where I must surely find them?
Because we are married, am I to have no life of my own? No thoughts, no private place?
Where you deceive me?
Are my thoughts to be purchased? Look, what am I to do these long nights? You leave me alone constantly. I'm interested in neither your steamship nor your drawing board.
Oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. It's the age-old wives' complaint. I apologize. Oh, come to bed. Now, come on, Elizabeth.
I'm not tired.
All the better, then.
Oh, save me your jests.
Elizabeth!
William was breathing heavily. In case he should wake, I shall stay beside him.
Looks like the Samantha.
See the way that droger is rigged? She's come home short-handed. A fever boat, more than like.
She may have had fever.
You'll never get a crew aboard her.
They don't know, and they won't. I'll board her myself, square off.
But you'll never clear her in Liverpool.
Been arranged.
Arranged? Mr. Fraser?
Now, tonight, when the crew got their heads down, I'll board her with Miss Indigo. Give me time to square off.
You'll never get away with it.
It's my risk, Captain Bates, not yours.
Horrors I may have, but I'm a match for you sailor.
Johnny no rubber.
Well, now, Johnny Rubber got him. Fancy candle, she cursed.
Captain Jones! Captain Jones!
Pardon me, sir.
This is Captain Onedin.
Jones is the name, sir. Captain Zachary Jones.
I should like to see the forecastle. Ship's log, papers, consul signatures from ports of loading. First the forecastle. Here, you. Come with me.
If Johnny talks.
He won't.
Johnny. You and me, Polly, eh?
Yes, boss.
Guys, Guano. Where from?
Arica, boss.
Chile.
North by Pisagua, San Marcos de Arica. Guana long time in Tacna, brought down by coolie man.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Captain says sign Samantha, but he's boarded her alone. Why?
Well, I'll tell you. To make sure you got a featherbed boat all the way home. Now get up topsides, you'll graft here the while.
Her, not me. I sign Samantha.
That was yesterday. Holy Stoning today, I think, and then we'll have the bilges pump them back to Holy Stoning. 'Cause now you're at the master's table, lad. And I come up the oars pipe. The hard way. Oh, I'll learn you, lad. When I've finished with you, you'll be a real Western Ocean man. Blue water, blue eyes.
When did the last man die of fever in that forecastle?
I can't remember exact.
No entries in your log? No, it wasn't. Have you no log at all? Ship's papers, bills of lading?
They will be found and put in order.
Aye, aye, aye. That forecastle stinks of fever. You know, the way she is, you'll never get a clean bill of health, and without that, you'll rot in quarantine, bird droppings and all. Now, before the crew come aboard, she's got to be squared off, stem to stern, fumigated, white-lined, and if you've any drinking water, you want to get rid of it.
Drinking water? How do you think I survived, mister?
Stop that bit for it. Now, look, I want all the clothing and dunnage stitched. I want the bulkheads lined, top to bottom. Now,
Yes.
just have you. I want it done now. Forecastle, white line.
Yes. Johnny, he won't long time want the order.
Right, then, come along then, chop, chop. Captain, you need to take the ship in alone. When the hands get aboard, it might be of help if you had more than one leg under you.
Beardless boys.
Thinks I'm your daughter.
Oh, indigo carriers. Oh.
You reek of drink.
Drink? And why not? You've seen the things I seen this trip. The things I done for you, you do more than drink. Huh? Huh? If it's a fever what's worrying you, first thing I done was ditch the drinking water. Barricade myself in here. Huh?
What happened to a longboat then?
Mouth shut job, remember.
I dare say you sail with buckles and bean all over, but this voyage is to be quiet. It was short-handed, 8 in all, but you knew that when you signed on.
What happened to her then, sir? All hands, it must have been.
You'll be paid in sovereigns the moment that she gets into port.
And me.
This whiting's barely dry.
Yeah, it's clean, ain't it? You ought to sail on some real pool packets, mate.
Did you see her yards? She came home under courses with the gallant sent down and her gear half carried away. And I'll tell you something else. I can smell a blood boat, I can. There's killing been done in here. Sailor killing.
Monday, 20th July.
Latitude 6 by 58 north. Longitude 21 by 31 west. Course south by east, 3/4 east.
Ship struck by a strong gust of wind. Heeled over suddenly, and the topgallant carried away about 2 feet above the cap. 20th, 21st, 22nd. 22nd. That was the day we put the mate over the side. The foresail hanging in ribbons. It was flapping all the time when Johnny and I carried the mate on deck. Alive he was when we put him over the side. That sail flapping above us all the time, like an undertaker's blind.
Who are you?
Johnny Heave-Ho.
Johnny Heave-Ho?
Yes.
What do you here for, Johnny?
Oh, me Captain Tiger.
How many men he killed, Johnny? How many sailor men?
Oh, Capitan, he no kill many sailor, man.
How many, Johnny?
Capitan, he drink plenty whiskey. He forget plenty.
And what about his daughter?
Daughter? Not daughter. He got him hot chicken from Coquimbo. She very rich, bad lady, she.
Yes?
She get licher. Very nasty, always making Johnny Heave-Ho plenty chop-chop.
Well, what happened to the crew then?
Oh, the clue. Oh, very sorry, Capitan.
Questions, Lord?
Questions, Captain.
You signed on in passage, and you'll sign off with a jingle in your tin. Now, what more does a sailor want?
There's been sailor killing done on this ship.
We're only bringing her home, Morgan. Whatever happened on board this ship before we joined her is no concern of ours.
Get your hands out of there.
Me no steal, boss. Me lucky. Me no steal live sailor.
Live sailor?
No, boss. Only dead men's. Me got links, back links. Me sure. better on Johnny Hevo than Davy Jones' locker, no? Look, boss. In back, me got links with finger.
Finger?
Me got him not come up yet. Me sure.
You're not a carcass robber, are you?
No, boss. Only finger. After Colucci, then comes fever.
Fever?
Then Missy say, goodbye by Salem and Little Push, and all go to Davy Jones.
Little Push? Live sellers?
No, boss.
You said no still live sellers.
No, she said they will die of fever, so why not? Fever is God fever. Fever come, making face all sores. Very nasty, pretty lady.
And the captain knew about this?
Capitan like hot chicken too much. She said jump, he jump. She said push, he push.
You mean he drowned them?
Well, sir, put your papers ready.
I got it all, mister, including a rat certificate and consul signatures from all over.
Well, you'll have to do a bit more than wave them in the air. So will my partner when we get there.
Huh? Do you hear the way he treats me? After what I done? What I put up with? What I witnessed for you? I buried so many dead. We ran out of shackles to weight him down even. What's he got then? The scow boatman. I'll tell you what he haven't got. He haven't got eyes what seen what I seen. Neither the dying, nor the cursing, nor the looks they gave them that was still alive. Oh, you're like the Calucci, you are. Once seen, and the jig's as good as up.
Zachary Jones. I understand from the daughter he's quite a character and well known on the Guano coast.
The Fever Coast, eh?
Well, guano's such filthy stuff, you'll be as anxious as we are to get it off the docks. Shall we go out on the Hero?
It's against regulations.
Oh, surely you don't have regulations this early on a wet Monday morning.
The launch is alongside the Samantha now, sir.
Pretty good, Captain Baines.
What if they find out about the fever?
What fever, Captain Baines?
Are you carrying any mails, Captain?
Mail, sir? Not this trip, no, no.
And can I see your manifest?
Certainly, sir. Indigo.
Ah, thank you. And, have you anything to declare?
Oh, usual stores under bond. Spirits? Much depleted, I'm afraid.
There's been a run of smuggling from the American ports.
Oh.
Cigars and the like.
Mister, if you could give me a cigar, you'd make a friend.
Oh, I think I can oblige.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You, didn't make the ship's number, Captain.
Number? No. No, sir. And that's where I'm going to have to crave your indulgence. A flag locker went. A flag locker and the galley washed out. And no fire for days, no.
And there's no sickness on board?
Oh, none whatsoever, sir. Case of dropsy early on. Blew itself overboard. Now, let me fill your glass.
Oh, thank you, Captain. I'll put the rummagers on board. Then if you'll come along to the customs office with the cargo manifest, we'll see to your clean bit of health.
Thank you, sir.
We're very anxious that everything should be signed quickly. We would like the ship turned round as soon as possible.
Yes, a cargo of guano, eh? You want to return to the source before someone else finds it.
How soon?
As soon as the papers are signed, but it'll be a formality.
I can see the only thing that's bothering you, sir.
And what's that?
No cigars. You'll have to oblige, sir.
It would seem we brought the contraband with us, eh, John?
There they go. Here. Right, I want a new crew signed this morning. 8 men, lad. You objected to the last crowd. This time you can pick your own. So with this time...
Where are we bound and what's the cargo?
You know where you're bound then?
The Charlotte Road's a pierhead jumping off in a hurry. That's all I know. I'll see you.
Yeah, good luck. Oh, come on, Johnny. You come long sides. Plenty jobs long sides.
No need work. Johnny Lichman now.
You come with us to Mother Hubbard's, mate.
Johnny, he for a long time in Samantha.
I'm very grateful to you, Captain Onedin. We're sailing for South America as soon as possible. What are your plans?
Oh, I shall find some cargo or other, no doubt.
I never seen such close mounts as in this company. What are we bound for, then?
Tying up to tree stumps, son. Round the Horn and up the Guano coast.
Oh, you found out where Miss Indigo's Guano is, then?
I've never seen a man like Mr. Onedin. He don't miss a trick.
Well, come on. One of you say something. Come on, Anne. It's time to settle your differences. Your husband's home from the sea. Now swallow your pride and make it up.
Not I. It was James who asked me to come here.
I did. I did not say that. You said that.
Well, Sarah intimated.
Look, you said Anne said she wanted to see me.
We meant well, James.
You're like a stone, man. Had you not a word to say to her?
Well, I came, didn't I? Oh. We've made a step forward. This little venture has put us on the road to regaining control of the company. And we can buy nigh on £2,000 worth of shares. And I've a nose for a new trade.
What trade?
Fetch and carry. Free as air.
James, may I have a word with you alone?
Well, if it's company business, we are all directors.
3 seamen have died in a boarding house in Wellington Street of yellow fever.
Yellow fever?
Paid off the Samantha.
Are they sure it's yellow fever?
There's no doubt whatsoever. Yellow fever acts quickly and violently. But in this hot weather, it's worse than cholera. And we brought it here. It's true, James. We are responsible.
Oh, nonsense. She paid off under her own master. Closed and opened articles in the normal run of commerce.
James!
Albert! In the normal run of commerce.
Another one from Wellington Street.
The 7th in a week. All of Yellow Jack and all off the same ship.
What ship was that?
A Chilean packet, the Samantha. And God curse whoever brought her into this port.
The fact of the matter is, 7 people have died and there's danger of fever spreading along Wellington Street. And in every case, there's a connection with men paid off to Samantha.
Well, Samantha's discharged and turned round.
But with our help, James.
Yes. She closed and opened articles under her own master.
With our help again, Cousin John here and myself.
That's right. As you well know, Albert bade me facilitate her discharge. As customs officer, I gave her a clean bill of health, and now she's brought fever here. Of 8 crew members discharged, 7 are dead.
The 8th man's aboard the Charlotte Roads bound for South America.
You say you boarded the Samantha at sea?
Ah, yeah. Owners required a fetch and carry job. Crew had deserted or died.
Of fever?
Well, she was a Chilean ship from the Fever Coast. In those ships, there's always a risk.
But did you know there had been fever aboard?
Yes. We both knew.
She'd been a long time in passage. I thought it had blown itself out.
There. Incriminated.
How so incriminated? Fever is always a risk with foreign commerce. My interest was in the gain, and I was right. A cargo of guano paid our owners and ourselves off handsomely.
Oh, yes, but I granted her a clean bill of health.
Well, did you see any fever aboard her?
No.
Well, did our master or owner declare any fever?
No.
Well, then you had no reason not to give her a clean bill of health, or I for shipping a crew aboard her. Now, there's an end to it. For all our sakes.
Our sakes? There are men dead. We should declare our involvement.
Declare it? For what purpose?
A mistake should be reported.
Look, the nub of the matter is that at all times the Samantha was the responsibility of our master.
You hadn't a leg beneath him for half the voyage. You told me that.
Our owner would better have hired a more reliable master.
James, the truth must out.
Yes, of course it must. I cannot understand your diffidence.
You must please yourselves. My advice is, nothing said, and for good reason.
Your own skin?
Not so.
Then what? James, I will have an answer.
In view of these deaths, there's to be an inquiry into the Samantha's arrival, spread of the disease into Wellington Street. I suspect the public water supply is contaminated.
Well, in that case, we should state our part in the affair exactly.
I think not. It's no good business to be associated with disaster, however slight the connection. I'm more concerned on your behalf, you know.
If you're considering the good name of the Fraser shipbuilding yards, I am, after all, merely an employee.
Aye, but your father is owner. This inquiry, it's rumored that he is to be chairman.
And father becomes involved. He'll stop at nothing till he gets to the bottom of it.
Fly. Fly. I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Fly is the word for that man. I knew it the moment I first set eyes on him. And heartless with it. What did he say to you when at last he stepped ashore? Well, what did he say in his brother's shop?
Sarah arranged that meeting between James and I. She tried to mend the situation. She meant well, but she served only to strengthen the rift between us.
How long is it now that you've parted?
It's a month.
You... Logic and common sense went out of the window the moment that man appeared. You've let yourself sink down to the most dreadful circumstances. And me with you. That was my ship once, the Charlotte Roads, till he came along. Have you forgot that? And where is she now? Does anybody know?
She sailed with Captain Baines in command as soon as the Samantha docked. That reminds me, Captain Baines gave me some advance notes for his sister Alice. I still have to cash them.
Did he mention he'd be away on a long voyage?
I don't understand.
Well, with Yellow Jack, there's always quarantine laws. Great immobility of ships. James got her away so fast, I wouldn't be surprised if he hadn't an inkling of what lay in store for the crew that came off the Samantha.
No, James couldn't have been aware there was fever aboard. If he had done, he'd have made it known.
What if it prevented the Charlotte Roads sailing for profit?
James is concerned for himself and for profit, but he'd never do anything criminal.
You never come aboard the Samantha, but I did. And I know it happened.
A captain drowned members of his crew?
Before they died of the fever.
I've known some hard captains in my time. Regular built down east Johnny cakes, but I can hardly believe that.
It was the captain's bit of fancy who made him do it. She was frightened to hell of catching the fever, losing her looks. Hangman's nose she deserves.
Who told you?
The cook. He helped the captain do it. They weighted the poor devils with anchor shackles.
Did Mr. Onedin know that?
I don't know. He had only one word for that trip. Mouth shut.
Drowning sick men. Mr. Onedin couldn't have known.
Madam wasn't taken with the French sailor ship?
Definitely not.
It's coming back.
Then it can go out again.
I see. Mr. Fraser is in public life again.
My husband?
No, his father, madam. He's to chair the inquiry into this ship everyone's talking about.
Where did you hear that?
They made the announcement at the town hall. I can't interest madam in the latest Spanish Carmen too.
No. Can you finish now, please?
Of course.
Are you quite sure Mr. Fraser is to chair the inquiry?
It was announced this morning.
Excuse me, I have James with me.
You'd better stay.
Not while Miriam is here. She might tell you something else.
You had better stay.
I see the tenor of your feelings is not even disguised before servants now.
I don't ignore you entirely. I thought you should know that your father is to head the inquiry into this outbreak of fever.
So it's true.
I suppose it's to satisfy the public disquiet.
Oh, excuse me.
You were right, James. My father is to chair the inquiry.
Then the less said, the better.
A law of silence, James?
Discretion.
In whose interest?
Those whom discretion will benefit most.
And your own interest? What nobility of purpose do you hide your light behind now?
Commerce and good sense. And in your interests, Elizabeth, you'd best concern yourself in women's matters. I trust your father will turn out to be more than just a fair-weather friend.
We must hope so, James.
Go right up to the mizzen peak halyard, and if there's any chaffing, sing out.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Don't forget, check the seas now. Have you ever been to South America, sir?
I never been past Falmouth, sir.
Foul weather gear we'll need there. Foul weather gear for a foul weather place. And all for a shipload of bird droppings.
Guano. According to Mr. Onedin, it's all clear profit.
Aye, it is. And all we have to do is to shovel it up. Keep her full and by.
Aye, aye, sir.
No, you always repeat. When I says full and by, you comes back, full and by it is, sir.
Full and by it is, sir.
That's the hammer. Now, eye on the wind, we don't want her in irons. The halyard look all right to you?
All secure, Captain.
Are you sure?
Aye, aye, sir.
We put that in the record. Gentlemen, I think we might now proceed with the regulations governing the entry of vessels from foreign ports. Mr. Collector of Customs?
Here, sir.
Oh, please sit down, Mr. Rice. Mr. Rice, am I to take it there is no trace of the owners of the Samantha?
None whatsoever, sir.
Then did she have any dealings with any Liverpool merchants?
That'll be her cargo, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. Guano.
Yes, sir. It was dispersed in the usual way. Very much in demand. I believe it was already spoke for.
What I can't understand, Mr. Rice, is there is nobody here to represent her owners. No agent, no brokers, not a soul.
She was a foreign ship. She was a foreign ship, sir, and sailed immediately upon discharge.
So it seems. Well, now, perhaps we should address ourselves to the manner of her docking. Perhaps you would advise me as to the appropriate regulation.
Article 28, sir. The master of every ship infected with cholera, yellow fever, or plague shall cause to be hoisted between sunrise and sunset a day signal consisting of a large flag of yellow and black quartering, and during the hours of darkness a triangle of red and white lanterns.
And was the Samantha flying a flag of that description?
Not as far as I know, sir.
I see. Well, now, perhaps you will give me the titles of all persons boarding the Samantha in order.
There'd be the pilot, sir.
Is the pilot here? Thank you. Sit down. After the pilot?
Then the harbour pilot, sir, then the customs officer.
Your department, Mr. Rice.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps you should advise me as to what steps are taken to ascertain that a vessel is free from infection.
There is the pratique, sir. Clean bill of health.
And upon whose say-so is the pratique granted?
Generally upon the master's say-so, sir.
Indeed. Correct me if I'm wrong, a mere layman, but since the Samantha entered this port, there have been 7 deaths. 7?
7 is correct, yes.
From yellow fever. And if, as you say, she was boarded in the proper fashion, am I not right in assuming that there must have been great irregularity and lack of the usual precautions on the part of all the persons boarding?
It remains to be seen, sir.
It does indeed. I take it you did not board this vessel yourself, Mr. Rice?
No, sir.
Then before we address ourselves to the pilotage, perhaps you'd be good enough to bring before me the customs officer who granted the pratique.
I'm afraid I can't, sir.
Can't, Mr. Rice?
No, sir. It was my junior, and he is himself sick.
Of yellow fever?
Of colic. I have a certificate to that effect, sir.
Yes,
Excuse me, sir, but it's your nephew, young John Fraser.
I think perhaps we should adjourn for a moment while I take advice on what's best to be done. Perhaps you would give us your assistance, Mr. Rice.
Yes, sir.
You were looking to get the Charlotte roads out before the fever broke?
Judgment, Fogarty. Essential in shipping matters.
I hear you were aboard the Samantha when she docked.
Then you hear wrong. Let me commend you 2 things, Fogarty. Judgment and accurate information, both essential in running your own business.
Kill me a couple of them. Killed you? I could kill all you. I told you to look at that halyard. Go on, jump to it. Now she's got starboard on her. Let go the throat halyards. Bring the cameras down. Belay that rope!
Captain, sir!
Drop the mainsail!
I'm sorry, sir. You don't have to ask what it is. Yellow fever. The Samantha was rotten with it, sir. I murdered her on that ship as well.
Don't touch him, son. Go below and get me the plague flag. When we float off, this is one ship that will go home with regulations nailed to the mast.
Captain Fogarty, sir. Oh, yes, Fogarty. You're representing the mercantile interests.
I was so elected, sir, since you asked for an independent assessor.
Sit down.
Well, it would appear that there has been some breach of the quarantine laws.
Clearly.
I doubt whether anyone will be in a hurry to own up to such a disaster.
I can understand that. I, for one, would be happier if my nephew were not involved.
Well, it may be that there are more people involved than at first seems apparent.
You're very cagey, Fogarty. How so, man? A plaguey guano boat with neither sight nor sound of her owners?
Well, it was...
The outdoor officer, sir.
Oh, I'm obliged to you, Mr. Rice. Thank you. Come along, John. Be seated. This is Captain Fogarty, who's assisting me. I see no reason why we can't be brief. Sit down, sit down. John, I'm told you granted the Samantha a clean bill of health. Signed the pratique. Is that true?
It is, sir.
Upon what examination?
Upon the master's say-so, sir.
The master of the Samantha declared no fever.
I asked him that question, and the answer was in the negative.
No fever aboard?
None, sir. By his declaration.
And you had no reason to disbelieve him then?
No, sir.
Were the papers in order?
It seemed so, sir.
Well, were you satisfied?
She had consul signatures from ports of loading and departure, including rat certificates. They seemed in order. Then I was concerned with the bond. It was heavily depleted, but there was no evasion.
In fact, you had no reason to believe in anything untoward.
No, sir. But clearly I was wrong.
Oh, a frank admission anyway. Have you anything to add, Captain Fogarty?
Well, the pratique is generally granted upon the master's say-so. Unless anything specific is declared, it's not practice to examine the crew.
You had no suspicion of fever whatsoever. Not a thought in your mind that you might be hoodwinked.
I had no suspicion of fever whatsoever. But I put the routine question, and the answer was no fever aboard.
Have you anything you wish to say you think might help us?
No, sir. Except to say...
Yes?
Except to say I'm deeply grieved at what's happened, sir.
Oh, very well. You can go. We'll call you. Colic. Did you notice his hand shaking, Fogarty?
I did, sir.
Grief or guilt? Come on, you've been a shipmaster.
I'm afraid that's for you to decide, sir.
I know young John very well. I smell a rat, Fogarty. Perhaps more than one.
What puzzles me is the crew.
The crew?
The Samantha's crew. Now, she was a Chilean vessel, but those men who died were mainly Liverpool men. Oh, I knew some of them, a boarding house package if ever I saw one. But they made no voyage from South America.
How can you say that? They signed off the Samantha.
Well, a week before the Samantha arrived, those men were seen around the Liverpool docks.
They were not her original crew?
Couldn't have been. They must have been shipped out to her in passage.
Shipped out? For what reason? What happened to her own crew?
Well, in view of the present conditions, it could be that her own crew died of yellow fever.
But who shipped the crew out to her?
My brother sent no word.
No, Captain Baines was in a hurry to get to sea. He just asked me to give you the money.
Did he not say whether Charlotte Rhodes was sailing?
No, he did not.
We learned this morning that cesspit is to be blown up and the water supply diverted. All the houses will have to be emptied. There's a danger that we'll have to move.
Move?
The sewer here is too close and this corner of the court is too old. They've been looking for an excuse to bring it down.
Does that mean that you'll lose the house?
There's a danger of it. The medical authorities have agreed on the danger, but not on what's going to happen to us. If people here could get their hands on the master of the Samantha, there would be murder down in Wellington Street.
Do you think
What?
whoever brought that ship in knew that there was fever aboard?
Whoever brought her in was thinking of a cargo and not a seaman. The guano was discharged as quickly as if it were gold, and the ship put out again as fast as they could manage. As though they daren't wait to see what they'd left behind.
And they must have known.
Someone here in Liverpool took the crew out to her. Must have done. It's Liverpool seamen lying limed and tarred in paupers' graves. They might just as well have been stabbed, but there's not one alive to tell the tale, not one.
Take her up dead into the eye of the wind. Pay out all you got and let the anchor go. When you get back, we'll catch her off. Where you go. We're praying to God the tide will rise before the wind threatens. Aye, aye, sir.
We'll soon have her off. About Captain Onedin, I think he knew there'd been fever aboard the Samantha. But he risked going aboard himself. So he must have thought the fever had blown itself out.
It's not just the fever. It's the drowning of fevered sailors.
I don't think he knew about them.
We'll soon find out what he knew and what he didn't know.
Captain, sir.
Yes?
If I don't get home, you won't put me over the side alive, will you? While I'm still living.
No, son. Not me. Let go! Taking the slack on the windlass. Come round to the quarter! Did you know they were going to skip?
No, sir, but I heard them muttering. They wouldn't go forward, sir. Yellow Jack.
I'll get you home safe if I have to kid you from here to the Mersey. Never whistle in a ship, son.
But I...
Never! They got too much bearing down upon us as it is. Come on.
Then you will admit nothing.
No, not be treated like some trembling apprentice brought before its master.
James, 7 men are dead.
Look, I've been at sea since I was 14 years old. Ship's logs are full of such tragedies.
You ferried sailors out to the Samantha at the owner's request. But did you know that there was fever aboard?
She was a Chilean ship.
Is that an answer?
Well, can I be responsible for every filth-wrecked port in the world?
No, but Liverpool men are dead and you are evading something. Whatever it may be, why don't you come forward?
It's not just myself, it's Fraser, Albert Fraser. I involved him in a share of the Samantha's profits. Now that his father is to be chairman of this inquiry, we've no other course but to remain silent.
Oh, James, I fear for you. If it's not one evasion, then it's another.
Evasion?
You cannot give a straight answer. And your concern for other people is so small that it amounts to a kind of heartlessness. And it disgusts me.
Oh, does it indeed?
I thought that if I was to separate from you, it would bring you to some understanding of me, of values even, of some concern other than your pocket. But it's not done so. You go from one purpose to the next, not caring what happens to other people, not those whom you employ, not even your wife. You're selfish, ruthless, and you have no cares in the world that cannot be measured on a balance sheet.
I see your tongue has sharpened in my absence.
But nothing has happened to your conscience.
I gave you your choice.
To deny my principles or to leave your house.
Aye, and you chose to leave.
And I said I would not come back unless you asked me. And I meant it, James.
I'm surprised at your impertinence at calling here unannounced. You must want something. And how is your fiancé?
Well, your brother James was very fortunate to get the Charlotte roads out before the fever broke. He was smart to get a cargo. What was it?
You'll not pick my brains on that score, Daniel Fogarty.
Come now, Elizabeth. You would not send a ship halfway across the world on a speculation.
If it pleased me, I would.
On a whim,
If the whim was strong enough.
and well paid enough.
Oh, no. I've more taste than James, and not in the least interested in tying up to tree stumps in fever ports.
The Fever Coast. So the Charlotte Rose has gone for guano. Where did James find out about the source of the guano?
How should I know that?
Well, if he's after guano, he must have got the source from the master of the Samantha, and to do that, he must have been on board. Sailors out, fever home, and a quick profit from the same port.
You'd better be careful in your conclusions.
Why is that?
In all your dealings with me, you've had my feelings to contend with. Unfortunately, James is free of any concern for you.
Well, hardly. I understand we're to be dining soon.
Dining?
Yes, at your father-in-law's. You see, I'm appointed Mr. Fraser's independent assessor, assigned to the deaths of Liverpool seamen.
She'll always edge to weather. Never let her have her head. I'll go for it. Stand up to it now.
Aye, aye, sir.
Would you like me to say a few words, like? I don't know if I can remember. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Gone.
Gone?
And a witness, too.
Witness to what, sir?
Never you mind. You need a tarpaulin and an anchor shackle. Now get for it. You would whistle.
Yellow fever. I can't understand what all the hubbub's about. The Cuba sweats, we used to call them. I had many a spell myself. Nothing that a good stiff tot can't cure. Whose is that rag?
It belongs to Mr. Baines's sister. Their water supply's been diverted and she's got 2 children.
Wellington Street, always fever in Wellington Street. Always was, always will be. They live like pigs down there, some of them pigs. What do you want to go down there for, I can't imagine. And I don't know what you look like.
I don't know what I feel like either.
Well, there you are, then. In my day, women knew how to keep their men dangling. You had a double bed? No. Well, I suppose it's not your fault you're such a plain Jane. Get any sense out of him when you saw him?
No.
Well, there you are, then. But since you left him, that's the legalities against you. What's the matter?
I'm just tired.
Well, go back to him and make your peace.
No!
When will you realize that a woman can't stand on her own feet in this world? She needs a man.
I'm just tired. That's all. Tired and hot.
Well, if you will spend your days down Wellington Street.
I just don't seem to have any strength.
I've got half a guinea. Would we like to try the apothecary?
I find Daniel so masterful. And that air of the sea captain. Brass bound, I think they call it. And other times, though, I find him quite moody. He was an orphan. Orphan? From the board schools. The scrubbed boy from the cadetship. Oh, of course. You were bespoke. Oh, Daniel's so reluctant to talk of the past.
Oh, it was a simple change of heart on my part. I met Albert and, well, that was that.
Well, your husband I find most engaging.
Why was Daniel not at dinner?
Errands, I dare say. Your father-in-law is merchant, politician, and commodore rolled into one. But tell me more about Daniel. Did you find him unduly affectionate?
Ah, there you are, my boy. Did you have to roll?
I came as quick as I could, sir.
You've missed your victuals, I'm afraid. Would you care for a glass of port?
Thank you, sir. How's the Garno trade progressing, Onedin?
All trade progresses from efficient handling.
Curious how you should come across such a distant cargo.
One has been carried before.
Indeed. On the Samantha.
And that ship and any other fortunate enough to find the train.
How did you find out about the source of the Samantha's cargo?
Seems cross-examination is in the air.
I should like an answer to that question. I've been made responsible to the people of Liverpool in this matter, and I must have an answer. How did you discover the source of the Samantha's cargo?
From the ship's pantry, man. Oh, and before you should accuse me, I've nothing to hide. The Samantha's owner approached me to ship a crew aboard her. She was in a sore plight.
A sore plight?
Aye. She'd had a bad voyage. Half her crew deserted.
Deserted?
Well, it's not unknown. She'd been in a tidal wave through terrible seas.
And what about the rest of her crew?
Died of fever.
You state that openly.
I state what I was told. Died of fever in passage. A master brought her home to Cork.
And you took out a crew to the Samantha?
Aye, in exchange for the profits of a quarter of the cargo.
A hard bargain.
Well, her owner suggested a quarter. I wanted a third.
I want to talk about yellow fever, Onedin.
When I went on board, there was no fever.
No fever?
None. She'd been 120 days in passage. Even so, I took precautions. Had the forecastle lined and cleared. I even stayed myself, just to make sure that everything was in order.
Are you saying, do you dare to say the Samantha did not bring fever here?
Nobody can deny that. But at the time, I took every precaution I could to safeguard the crew that I put aboard her. And even that wasn't my responsibility, but the master's.
You're too glib, Onedin.
I resent that.
Why did you not step forward and state your part openly? Then, whatever odium fell upon you, you'd have had the support of the mercantile interests, who well understand the risks involved. It's your silence that's criminal, man. You're too fly by far.
Father, you're wrong. He was silent because of me.
You?
For purposes of gain, I was made partner and had a share of the Samantha's cargo.
You were partners?
There was a chance of a handsome profit. We took it and made it, James and I.
We cannot build our steamship on promises. We need cash.
But the fever. Had you not thought of your good name? Two of you involved. If this came out, what reputation would the Fraser shipyards carry in this port?
Exactly, Mr. Fraser. Now, perhaps you understand my position. Perhaps now you can advise us on what course of action to take, other than remain silent.
It would not surprise me if Onedin had involved your son deliberately.
Well, of course I involved him deliberately. Would I not want to put money in my partner's pocket? If our steam interests prosper, we profit jointly. Well, sir, I'm waiting for your reply. What do you now propose? Maybe we can dispense with your messenger boy here now.
You must suffer too, Onedin. as others have suffered in this past week. A Lloyd signal station at Land's End has just reported the Charlotte roads on her way home. 2 men deserted, and the plague flag upon her mast.
Well, lad, we've done it. Blame me if I don't think you're looking for taller.
It's stretching to look for a following sea, sir.
Following sea's a friend if you can keep her stern down. Oh, here comes the brass.
When did you sail, Captain?
24th of July, sir. We were in passage for Arica.
Since that date, there have been 7 deaths in Wellington Street.
Wellington Street?
Yes. All paid off the Samantha.
Did you say 7 deaths in Wellington Street? I got a sister living there, sir.
I'm afraid there is a woman among the sick.
There's no fever, is there? Brought in from the apothecary. They thought the pains was labour, but she's like an empty pod. Fever, then?
Well, sweat's feverish.
She's no yellow.
Eyes is yeller. And the shivering's feverish.
Best burn a clays, then. Fever's a blessing for some.
You've got my Charlotte roads poxed up to the gunnels, and your wife took ill. Ever since she's known you, there's been nothing but despair. The way you act, heartbreak follows you like a shadow. Who you bring to ruin next, I wonder?
I want the night clothes. Nothing else.
This once she'll take what you're given by me. I tell you, I've seen that girl go down to nothing. She's worn out with worry and shame. And don't say it's her fault. Everybody's actions aren't concerned entirely with money, you know. The purse is not everybody's gone.
Just give me the bag.
Look at you, stone, stone. I'll tell you this, if she were to die, it would make no difference to you. You're incapable of any human feelings at all. Nothing moves you. Damn it! If you were to drink, at least it would show you were human, but you're too damn preoccupied to risk your liver for a little jollity. And what about me? Do you ask how I've got the fare to the blamed hospital?
But you're soaking.
I swam ashore.
Have they no boats?
Well, I'm in breach of quarantine. I heard there was fever.
7 dead. But mercifully, we've been spared the fever. Although the house must go.
The house?
A cesspit that served the boarding house is to be destroyed. We are joining, so the court is to be evacuated too.
You mean you're losing the house?
12 years we've been here. Done what I could for the children, and since you've been made master, it's a great help. The authorities will compensate the owners, but not the tenants. I've heard that Captain Onedin was part responsible. Now, is it rumour or is it truth?
I don't know.
Then they say this hot weather's exceptional and must have prolonged it. Where are you going?
It seems, gentlemen, that there has been neglect of the usual precautions on the part of the persons who boarded the Samantha, and her master is significantly absent. In the case of the customs authorities and the pilotage, they would appear to have acted in ignorance and not from willful intention of violating the law. Moreover, I am informed by the Privy Council that the trade of this port will not be inconvenienced. and there is no further cause for quarantine restrictions being placed on outgoing vessels. And finally, by some freak of circumstance, the climatic conditions which foster yellow fever have never been better imitated in Great Britain. These conditions have now passed. Gentlemen, I'm happy to inform you it's raining.
I swam ashore, went to my sister's and sought you at your brother's. No word from you at the quarantine station, no word in passage, nor about the fever. When I come ashore, it's to find my sister made homeless. Yeah, she's a widow with 2 children, lived in the house 12 years. They're pulling down the caulk because of the water supply. The house is next door to Mother Hubbard's, where the seaman died. The crew we took out to the Samantha. And the last one, young 20 Morgan, died in my arms, and you know what his fear was? Captain, he says, "You won't put me over alive, will you? Like they done on the Samantha?"
Don't you beside yourself, man.
Put him over alive, he said. A dying man speaking the truth. There was murder done on that ship, sir, and you knew of it.
I knew of no murder.
And the fever, if you'd have seen our Morgan died, old black vomiting wretched. I heard his last words, a seaman through and through he was, and now dead. And my sister, no roof over her head.
Mr. Baines, I did not know there was fever aboard her. She'd been so long in passage, I thought it had blown itself out.
Aye, excuses. But the dead don't listen, they can't listen. It's a long way down in the water with ankles shackled for company. Too weak to shout, dying and drowning for the sake of a fast coin. And a fast coin in your pockets, sir, not theirs. There's only lead in there. Who's that in there? It's not Mrs. Onedin.
Better get back on board. You're in breach of quarantine.
She's not got Yellow Jack.
Is it worse than childbirth? If it's worse than childbirth, I ken what it is. Gallstones.
James.
I'm sorry. For all of it.
Welcome aboard, ma'am. Your cabin's out.
Thank you, Captain Baines.
It's a long haul through Chow, but we'll soon have those roses in your cheeks again. Stand by the castle!
Thank you. Hey. Mời đồng Thái.
Morning. Livestock with the voyage?
Aye, ma'am. But they need to fatten up a bit before they grace our table. Still, the crew will be glad of a bit of fresh meat.
That's true.
120 days?
Might be. You have to be on the safe side.
The whole point of this voyage is speed. Cargo of first crop China tea has to be with the merchants within 3 months. First ship in gets top price, and I mean to get top price.
Aye, sir.
Load all this extra provender and the crew will lie down and enjoy life. Men that know that it's our tack after 90 days will jump to it.
No man alive can predict the whims of ocean and weather, sir.
Well, you get that price down by 5%.
I can't do that, sir.
You can tell the chandler that we'll buy our provisions elsewhere.
Aye, sir. I'll do the best I can.
Tight girthed as ever, James?
The men will not starve. Rations run short after 90 days. There's still salt pork and biscuits to keep life in them at a reasonable cost.
So we're back to thoughts of profit.
Well, on this voyage, what else is there?
There's self-respect.
Mine?
No. Captain Baines. Destroy his authority and you'll destroy the man.
Good evening, Mr. Fraser. Foggett. I had no idea you were also a lover of music. Oh, scarcely a lover. I was being entertained by a business acquaintance. You seem to have caught this young thrush's fancy.
You flatter me.
I'm surprised you've time for this sort of diversion.
All work, they say, makes for dullness. You should remember that, Fogarty, next time you catch one of your dock clerks yawning in your presence.
May I ask after Mrs. Fraser?
She's well. All the better for restricting her social life to friends of his boat.
Well, wish you a good evening, then.
Albert, how was I?
As charming as ever, my dearest.
Oh, you're so gallant, Albert. Who's the gent?
Just an acquaintance, a nobody.
He doesn't look a nobody.
He is, I assure you. You're looking very lovely tonight, my dear.
Well, I have to be here, don't I? Not that this lot would notice if I fell down in a blue fit. Oh, I hate this place.
Better than spoiling your pretty hands in the laundry.
I can do better than that. Darling,
Thank you.
I'll make a start in the proper theatre.
Why not grand opera? Oh, Carrie, accept what you have.
You. I I haven't got you. To you, I'm no more than a pleasant hour or two, when you're so inclined.
You think no more than that?
I know. Cash. That's what I lack.
Most of us do.
Oh, surely you could afford to buy me a new dress and a pair of shoes for my audition.
Not even a small fan. Anyway, how would I explain such expenditure to my shareholders?
Same way as you explain it to stuck-up missus.
Carrie, you may not speak of Mrs. Fraser in that way.
I'm sorry, Albert. You got me upset.
Let us forget it.
I'd only need... how much? Say, £10?
£10?
Nothing to a man in your position.
But beyond me at the moment. Where are you going?
I'll have to sink again.
Shall I come tomorrow?
Suit yourself.
Carrie. I have but 2 sovereigns on me. Will that buy you finery?
You'd have me dress on the cheap.
Oh, with your beauty. Would anyone notice?
Oh, Albert.
Well, Captain. I'm Mr. Onedin, holding course a treat. Big boat! On his starboard bow! Stand by to heave to!
All hands! Man the main braces! All the main braces!
Are they dead?
Near enough by the looks of it.
Still breathing?
Oh, beg your pardon, Mum, but is it convenient to do the floor now?
Oh, very well, but make haste now.
Hi, Mum. How was the old flotsam fellow, then?
Still asleep. He didn't touch his broth again.
Ah, well, that'll be best for him, Mum. Sleep.
Have you rescued shipwrecked men before?
Oh, bless you, Mum, yes. Lifted them gently aboard like rare old living skeletons one day. 2 days later, tossed them back.
But surely we can save him.
Oh, after what he's seen, Mum. Oh, just imagine, see? You're sitting there day after day after day, with the sun like a furnace above you, burning your thirsty lips black. Aye, nothing but the sea all round. Just this flat, hateful sea. Ooh. It's little wonder they tell tales they do of shipwreck madness, you know. Biting open the very veins of the dead and drinking their very blood.
Please, Thomas, the very thought.
Oh, you don't believe me, Mum? Ah, I've had it from the lips of men who've known it.
I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the 7 angels, "Go your ways, pour out the wrath of God upon the earth."
And?
And the 2nd angel poured his vial upon the sea, and it became the blood of a dead man.
You hear what he said?
Be quiet.
And every living soul died in that sea.
But you took his meaning, Mum.
No, it escaped me.
But the talk of blood.
Merely a quotation from the scriptures.
Aye, but what was he trying to say, Mum?
It was just delirium, the effect of his sufferings.
Or the reason for him?
It was Revelations, verse 3. Here.
And every living soul died in that sea.
Could he have been trying to tell us something about himself?
Possibly. Or it could just have been part of a bad dream. Consider Anne. A drowning man lives the whole of his life again in a moment. A shipwrecked man has endless time to be wrecked by wild dreams and fantasies. His mind can seize hold of any strange illusion and believe it true.
But he must have been trying to communicate something, perhaps some warning.
Look, any Bible text can be made to sound ominous. Of course, it's set fair. Oh, in 80 days.
So fare thee well, me pretty young gal, 'cause we're bound for
Dear, dear, it's stinking hot.
It's where's to come before we cross the line.
Don't mind a bit of dry heat, I don't. It's that trickly monsoon rain I can't abide.
You been topside, Taff?
No, I've been to the mate's cabin.
Oh? How's the old flotsam fella?
Oh, he woke up and muttered a word or two of scripture.
Bible talk? That's funeral talk, man.
Ah, well, maybe it sounded doom enough. Something about the sea turning to dead man's blood.
He's raving. Happen he knows about things as we don't.
What things?
Well, I mean, how long since we left the pool? 7 months or more. I mean, what could have happened? What might have happened, eh? Plague, death, horrors.
You're raving yourself.
Was that all of it, or are you holding something back?
What?
The bit of scripture, how does it go on?
Oh, I don't recall.
You do, by God, how's it go, you little weasel?
What? And every living soul died in that sea.
Means a bad voyage.
You reckon?
Plain as your face.
Am I at sea?
You are indeed. Aboard the clipper Osiris, bound from China to Liverpool.
Osiris.
Of the Onedin line. James Onedin is my husband.
Husband and wife. Is he aboard too?
He is. And he can be brought to you now that you're awake.
Mom?
Fetch Captain Onedin.
How long?
3 days. Though heaven knows you can have little recollection of them.
Have I spoken?
Only in delirium. A Bible text.
What text?
It's a favourite for ship's sermons. The one about the 7 angels from Revelations.
You do not know my name.
Neither your name nor anything about you. You had naught but rags.
My name is Hennessy. John Hennessy.
John Hennessy, James.
A late acquaintance, Mr. Hennessy. None the worse for that, eh? Fetch a kettle of hot water from the galley and tell Captain Baines to unlock the Queen, will you?
Aye, sir.
How did I?
How did you come to be amongst us, eh? We picked you up in a longboat.
And the other? Macrow?
He was dead. Had been so for 2 days or more. We gave him a decent sea burial.
Oh, that was fitting.
May I inquire what ship you was from?
Yes. She was named the Usk, 1,200 ton out of Newport, with a cargo of smithy coal from Mauritius.
Were you her master?
No, ma'am.
Her mate.
Oh, thank you, Captain Baines.
Old man, what happened to your ship?
We took the inshore passage off the Agulisburg.
Surrounding the Cape of Good Hope, eh?
Yeah, we must have struck during the night. She went down in minutes.
Were any other lifeboats launched?
Don't think so, sir. There were 4 people in our boat. Then after one day and the night, one died. And the others, they soon followed. And they pitched them over the side as long as we had the strength.
So there was just the 2 of you, eh?
Yes, sir. The Crow and me.
Here.
Thank you, ma'am. I must try to get up soon.
Oh, you must build up your strength. Here, we've got time enough. Here, we shall be home in a couple of months, given a fair passage.
That I will pray for it. But there is the rule of 3.
What's that?
Luck, ma'am. It strikes in 3s. This has been my 3rd voyage, where the 2 before ended in disaster.
Bring her round to South West. Royals and together.
Lord Royals and together!
Wind's come right round.
I observed that. Should you not take a long reach southwards?
Well, it's either that or short tacks till we're around the Cape.
Wind stay. Whichever course you take, it's a long way.
It'll cost us 3 or 4 days.
3 days I can afford. Not more.
Cookie surprise Chinese curry.
Rice pudding and raw beans.
It has to be. Chandler's meat's one thing, but Chinese Chandler's meat. Yeah, it's grit and grizzle.
Ah, it is meat, though. And we'll be thinking of this scoff as a banquet in a day or 2's time. But there's worse to come.
Yeah, and couldn't get no worse.
You're wrong, man. We're way off course, did you know that? We've got a gale in our teeth.
Blown us back to Foochow.
Ah, everything was fair wind till we picked up that Onedin.
You know, I think he's a Jonah. There won't be no luck on this voyage no more, not while he's aboard.
Ah, he knows it himself, too. He was telling the missus this'll be his 3rd voyage to go bad on him.
You won't be very elegant, I'm afraid, but at least you'll be decently covered. There's a couple of my husband's linen shirts and the best trousers and tunic we could find in the slop chest.
You're very kind to me, ma'am.
It's not much, I'm afraid. Come in.
Ma'am.
Here, I've ordered you something more substantial than broth today.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. But the meat, I will never touch.
Oh, it's good beef, bought live for slaughter in Foochow.
I forsworn all meat. I still hold. The man that eats meat becomes like the very beast himself.
Beg your pardon, ma'am, but could I have the leavings? Forecastle tack isn't that prime.
Would you try the potatoes, perhaps?
Thank you, ma'am.
You may leave us.
Yes, ma'am. us old school, Mum. She'd throw good roast beef over the side, rather than let us even have a smell of it.
The old saltfoot wouldn't eat it himself.
No. He said he'd forsworn all meat. He who eats flesh becomes like the very beast himself. That's what he said.
Then we've turned into scrawny old cattle long years since. You know what I reckon? Them days in the longboat have turned him. Touched his brain. Ah. Blood, the smell of it. It's turned him. I never believed those stories. What you think on? He's the one who had the strength to live. There was 3 that died, 2 of them over the side, unseen.
That's good, David.
Ah, days and days on it. No food, no water, and a dead un beside you, like a lovely fat carcass on a butcher's slab.
Your brain's gone rancid.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
What's that?
He's a Jonah, like you said, Taff. There's no flying fish following this ship.
Therefore commit his body to the deep, to be turned into corruption, looking for the resurrection of the body, when the sea shall give up her dead, and the life of the world to come through our Lord Jesus Christ, who at his coming shall change our vile body, that it may be like his glorious body, according to the mighty working whereby he is able to subdue all things to himself.
stomach knocking tonight. Not roast turkey and chestnuts. Poor old Taff.
It wasn't a bad ship, mate, poor little bleeder. Lent me 50 candarine in Food Chow Market. Won't want them back now.
It's an ill wind.
We've had nothing but ill wind ever since that old Jonah climbed over.
Well, we're carrying bad luck.
Until we slips him. Slips him? Aye. You mind the story of the real Jonah? How there was no end to the storm until the sailors cast him over. We ought to lighten our load.
What? Heave him over?
Change our look, see?
No, we'd never get him topside without the mates seeing.
Yes, we would. Tonight, after 4 bells. Captain asleep. You at the helm, me on watch. Lash the wheel for 5 minutes. Nip below, bring him up. Splash, none the wiser.
Just the 2 of us.
Keep it a secret.
None else to know.
I've told you. Are you with me?
I have to be, don't I?
Come on, then! You white-livered?
Nah, I'm with you.
Give us a hand, quick!
You miserable scum!
We heard the old man cry out. We were trying to help him.
Back on watch fast! And topsides! I'll deal with you later. You all right, Mr. Hennessy?
What's the disturbance?
Well, old Bogner and Hadley trying to hump him topsides.
What for?
Said he'd be taken bad, but I know Bogner, spooky old brass bounder. More likely they were plotting the old heave-ho.
God's name, what?
The folks was running with rumors. Seems he's the Jonah that's bringing us bad luck.
What rubbish. Rough passages before.
Yeah, but give him a reason. There's none so superstitious as your ignorant packet rat.
Don't you give 'em time for idle fantasies. You work 'em harder.
I'll drop Hennessy off at Durban.
Put Special into port.
We're best off without him.
Is superstition worth 2 days? 2 days on a fast run with first crop of tea? And the price falling from the day the first shipment's landed? Never.
With respect, sir. I am the master of this ship, and I'm responsible for the crew as well as the cargo.
You're blinded by fear and superstition, man.
In your opinion, sir.
You disappoint me, Captain.
I'm sorry.
Well, you might be captain of this ship, but I'm master of the Onedin line, and I say we sail on.
Owner's orders?
That's right, Captain.
Elizabeth.
Daniel, this is the very last place I'd expect to encounter an old sea dog like you.
Well, I was buying a book on the advice of a friend.
What a charming idea. I'm glad somebody is opening your mind to the world of letters. Our mutual friend. How very suitable. You admire the work of Mr. Dickens?
Well, I've not had much chance to read him as yet.
But no doubt our mutual friend, Miss Emma Callan, thinks you should.
I don't really think that's any concern of yours, is it, Mrs. Fraser?
Oh, you bite.
How's William?
Growing more like his father every day, I'm told.
Scarcely recognize him now. May I call?
You know that's not possible.
Because of Albert?
Yes. Though he scarcely sees enough of us himself these days. Out till all hours, working.
He tells me work on the steamship is progressing well enough.
You've been to the yard?
Oh, no, I keep out of there.
But you have seen Albert?
Yes, it was, in the street.
Daniel, you're not telling me the truth. Where did you see Albert? Why the mystery? Tell me, Daniel.
Well, it was another place. He was probably meeting a business acquaintance. Fox's music rooms.
A music hall? But he has so little time or money for amusement.
Well, it's a well-known meeting place for business folk.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, I won't keep you from Miss Callan any longer, Daniel.
Bye, Elizabeth.
It cannot be.
I am.
Are you sure?
I've been to old Widow Crew. She's had enough of her own. Albert, you'll have to help me.
Oh, how can I?
It's your brat. I should have thought you'd have known what you've been doing all those afternoons in the sales store.
Oh, be quiet.
Because you tell me to. I don't care who knows.
But I have responsibilities, problems.
And Mrs. I expect she's been wondering why you've been so tired of late.
She must never hear of this.
So what do you suggest?
Well, haven't you got any idea what to do? Surely one of your friends here...
Mrs. Croom's got a gentleman. Studied at the College of Medicine, he did.
How much?
What?
How much would it cost me for you to make your arrangements and go away so that I never set eyes on you again?
Is that what you want?
More than anything.
Oh, Albert, you're cruel.
Practical. How much?
I don't know if we could get Mrs. Croom's gentleman to do
Suppose
what's
we
necessary.
can.
Well, there'd be £1 or 2 on the side for her, and then there's my rail fare back to Preston. Could you manage 25?
£25?
I couldn't do it for much less.
I'll give you 10.
Then I'll go to your wife.
You get nothing from her but boxed ears. There.
Albert, didn't it mean anything to you?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Elizabeth. Not in bed?
I wasn't tired. Have you had your supper?
I ate earlier.
At the yard?
Yes. Come to bed, my dear. It's cold down here.
I went to your yard. They told me you left before 7.
I had 1 or 2 calls to make on our suppliers.
At Fox's music hall?
Elizabeth, are you trying to pry into what I do with my time?
I am your wife. I have a right.
You have no right.
I do as I damn well please.
With other women.
If I so choose, yes. God knows you've been cold comfort enough these past few months.
Oh.
That seems to settle the matter. I'll sleep in the guest room.
Do!
Not a tickle. No.
Any sign of a wind?
Not a breath. Here, Anne. Do you remember our first voyage together, when I taught you to navigate?
Scant instruction for the rigours of that journey.
Aye. Now, if I handed command over to you again, what would you do?
I haven't a notion, except to pray for a strong wind.
Let's hope it's not long in coming. I'd have been hard pressed without you sometimes.
Compliments now?
Just the one.
Could you not spare one for Captain Baines?
Baines?
Show him that you trust his judgment.
What, and let him waste time calling in a Durbin?
Well, it would have set the crew's minds at rest.
The crew can think what they like, so long as when Baines says jump, they jump. Come in.
Mr. Hennessy.
How are you feeling, old man?
Oh, except for a bit of dizziness, I'm all right, sir.
Please sit down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Will you take tea?
Thank you, yes. Begging your pardon, Captain, what course have we?
Same course as a cork, or whichever way the current chooses to send us.
We were becalmed too.
What, on the longboat?
Yeah, for 6 days. After Smith and Davies had died, I was alone in the boat with McCrow. I must tell you, he was a very violent man, ma'am. Very violent. But every minute, I watched him. Every second I watched him. I watched his hunger growing worse. His desperation more acute.
How terrible.
For the day we sat on that flat sea. And a long night. And a longer day. You see, I happen to know what happened to Davies. What McCrow.
Your sufferings have ended now.
I hope so, ma'am.
Hey, in a couple of days, we'll pick up some wind again.
Captain wouldn't be taking me inshore at the Gullis Bank, would he?
Well, how can I tell? With a fair wind, an inshore passage could save us a
But
day's
it's a
sailing.
danger to the ships.
I'll need a fast passage, Mr. Hennessy. But I assure you, as owner, my concern for safety will be as great as yours.
Big catch. A pair of gravel lane bullocks, 50 ribs a side.
Yeah, it's better than dry biscuits any road.
Aye. That's enough to break a rhinoceros, is all that is. When are we going to get some decent grub on this scow?
The only decent meat's on that deck. Them two porkers.
And the captain's saving those until we're round the Cape.
Providing they don't die of old age.
He might have a nasty accident.
You're wishing one on them.
No, suppose it happened. They'd have to be cooked and eaten the same day, wouldn't they, in this heat? Think of it. Lovely, juicy crackling. Soft meat. Thick gravy.
Where are you going?
Top side. Why talk about it?
You're right.
Succeeders!
I told you not to call.
I was just passing the house. I thought, why not? Do you mind?
No, not as it happens. Let's get this soap off.
Hello, William. Last time I saw you, you were no bigger than a skinned rabbit.
Oh, Daniel.
Have a boat here, have we? Hey, look at that. Hey, oh, isn't it great? Oh, there's a storm coming up. Look, storm, eh?
Oh, don't get him too excited, please. I'll never get him off
Big
to
southwester.
sleep.
Big
Now, come on.
southwester there.
That's quite enough. Oh, water
It's all wet.
everywhere. Oh, out you come. You got in your eyes? Yeah. Now, let's get you dry.
There we are. Let's rub you down. Rub a tub.
May I? Come on. Oh, dear.
My boat fell on you.
Our son.
What's that thing?
I didn't marry you because I couldn't stand the thought of becoming a lonely sea captain's wife. And now?
Now I'm a shoreman, home every night.
And I'm married to Puffing Billy's boiler man.
Made you a good husband?
I made the choice. I can't regret my bargain. Come on now, William. Let's get you into your nightshirt. There's a good boy.
William?
Is that what you were looking for, a bargain?
William.
Was there nothing else between us? Love?
You know you can't ask that, Daniel.
Oh, well, I tell you, there was love on my side.
But you're engaged to Miss Emma now.
So a mistake can never be put right.
No, Daniel. There's no way. Come on, beautiful. I think you better go now, Daniel.
Can I call again?
Better not, I think. I don't want you to get the impression that either William or I need you.
I had a premonition about my death at sea. I had hoped to prove it wrong. All day long, in that boat with McCrow. All that long night, and all the next day I was watching. Watching for the moment.
When he attacked you?
No. When he fell asleep. That was my chance. That was my moment, my chance to survive.
So you attacked him?
I killed him. I smothered his head with a blanket, and I fought him as he struggled to breathe until at last he succumbed.
Oh, God.
It was my only chance. God forgive me.
Poor man.
For 3 days, 2 nights, he lay there. I hadn't the strength to pitch him over the side. Yet I had to fight the desire not to cut his body open and drink his blood, as he had done to Smith and Davies.
Right, Mr. Bruff. Square the yards. Bend the braces.
Hey, do you hear that wind? No, Jonah must be dead then.
What if he's dead? That's manslaughter!
Quiet down there, scum. You'll get your day for talking. Call the magistrate.
Oh, my God, Bogner. What have you done? well, Captain?
I'm Mr. Onedin, due west.
Considered a point or two north of west.
Take us inside the Agulhas Bank?
Aye.
Where the old man's ship went down?
Well, it's the shortest way. Wind behind us, we could gain a half a day. We take the inshore passage.
Only if the wind held. You shifted 2 points and put us on a lee shore.
Are you superstitious, Captain Baines?
No, sir. But my judgment is we best avoid those particular streets.
Is it?
Aye, Mr. Onedin. It is.
Very well, then. Captain, it's your ship.
Aye, sir.